Hello, hi. Okay, so I've got a little squirrel chirping in the back there. He wants to make sure everyone knows we're here. And uh yeah, but it's been a long winter. Did everyone feel like it was a long winter? It was, even I thought it was a long winter, and I really love winter. So yeah, I wanted to pop in here and I don't really plan this video out. I'm mostly going to do a little introduction because we've got some new people in the group. And I also wanted to talk about plants, my favorite plant. It's popping up right now. Okay. So my name's Lisa. I'm a herbalist. I live 25 minutes southeast of Edmonton next to Mystic Lake Game Bird Sanctuary. It's 20,000 acres of kind of tangled wilderness. It's relatively unknown unless you're in the hunting community. We've got a lot of moose and deer around here. Okay, but it's very much moose country, and we get all kinds of birds. Lots are coming in. I saw a blue heron a couple weeks ago. I'm really looking forward to pelicans coming through a little bit later on in the months to come. And yeah, so that's it. We're going to talk about cleavers today. So cleavers is my favorite. It's my favorite herb. And it's one that I use regularly. Okay? And it's mostly known as bedstraw. And so I'm going to show you that there's kind of two varieties that we're talking about, but they're usually listed on the same because they're in the same family and they've got the same kind of uses or properties, okay? So you might see it as bedstraw in your books most of the time, and you can see that there's this rounded six-leaved variety, and then they've got a variety with slightly longer leaves that are more square-ish, maybe. And it's in a round of 4 as opposed to 6, okay? And they've all kind of got this white, little tiny white flowers, okay? And it's called bedstraw because they used to pack beds with it, okay? Pillows and beds as a stuffing, okay? It was also used, the root was boiled to make a red dye, and also this plant was used to curdle cheese, okay? But mostly I use it for lymphatic system, okay? And I'm going to show you, I've got both varieties here, okay? And you'll see that they've both got square stems. And this one seems to hold up fairly well. So this is what I call the bedstraw. It's got 4 leaves, you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4 on this one. Okay, and then this is the cleavers. And it's got 6 rounded. You can see that there's 6 round leaves there, okay? And they've got square stems. They're both going to have little white flowers when it's time. And basically the leaves come off in whorls, okay? So it's a long stem and then it's got these little, like, levels of the whorls coming off, okay? And this is really good for lymphatic system, okay? And, yeah, and oh, it's called cleavers because this one, the one with the rounded leaves, 6 rounded leaves, it later in its life it gets kind of sticky and it sticks to you, okay? It's a bit of a climber, whereas this bedstraw, it's got the same type of stem, but it's a little bit hardier and it doesn't need it can hold itself up, whereas this one kind of clings onto things. And I often see it growing in parks around stumps. Stumps and also, stumps out back here, but in parks it'll often be around like posts, where there's posts, okay? And let me just read a couple uses, this is Bev Gray's book, and it's the one that I recommend for beginners, Boreal Herbal, okay? So this is her, Bev Gray, and she's from the Yukon, and you can see boreal forest wraps all the way around the globe. Okay, and so we're boreal forest, and there's about 50 or 60 plants in here that are basically all our local plants. And this book is, it's hard to tell how many. Okay, but it's organized by trees, berries, and herbs. And then she's got recipe sections in the back. It's really well indexed. And everything is really nice and organized, which is nice for a herb book because lots of herb books are self-published, and that means they're kind of rushed, there's not a big budget, and sometimes those like finishing touches don't get done, even though there's lots of great content in the book. But this one is really easy to find what you're looking for, okay? Okay. So, there's kind of, well, there's lots of different ways to prepare this plant, but you can do a hot infusion, which is like tea, or a cold infusion, okay? And this plant is diuretic, okay? And if you do a hot infusion, you access more of those diuretic properties, and it was often used in urinary tract things, kidney, bladder, that sort of thing, okay? And it's also really good for lymphatic, but when you're accessing those lymphatic properties, you want to do a cold steep, okay? So I'll often just have a glass, usually I do it in a 1-quart jar, and I'll just fill the 1-quart jar up, and then I'll stick usually a larger sprig, or maybe 2 of these sprigs in there, and I let it steep in the fridge overnight, okay? So that's how I use it. And I feel like I kind of get some face swelling sometimes, so I feel like that helps clear my lymphatics. And this is a good spring herb, okay? And you can also, the bedstraw is a little bit more tougher, I find. I guess I haven't really just munched on it a lot. It's kind of got a weird texture. Oh, it's way more bitter. Let me just eat the top of this one, because I don't normally. I find that I like the flavor better on this six world one. Okay, and you're supposed to be able to just fry this up in butter. I mostly did tea last year, but I'm going to try that soon because I've got so much cleavers popping up in the path out back. Okay, okay, so diuretic, good for kidney and bladder, okay, also lymphatic system. And let me see. There's a little bit, okay, I'll just go through the uses. So it says alternative, and alternative means it's this old world, a herbal word, and they didn't really know what it meant, but sometimes we call it like a blood cleanser, but alternative is kind of that more formal modern term. And it just means that it takes you from, it alters you from a lesser state of health to a greater state of health, okay? It's a little bit anti-inflammatory, okay? And antioxidant, which is always good for we all have, antioxidants are always beneficial, okay? It's a little bit astringent, okay? Diuretic, which we talked about. Astringent means toning, right? Lots of us are familiar with astringent. Hepatic, which is related to that kidney thing. Just let me double check. Sometimes I get these words mixed up. She's got a good reference in the back of the book, except tones and strengthens the liver. Oh, right, because it's a little bit bitter. So it increases bile, okay? Laxative. And I did read in a Robert Rogers book that this was about 15 times less laxative than senna. And senna is kind of something, a herbal supplement you find in the supermarket, but it's really intense. So this is a great herb to take regularly if you have that kind of problem, but you don't want to be so forceful with your body, okay? It says tonic, probably because of those nourishing, and I didn't really prep for this one, but this is obviously edible, and she usually has like a profile, a nutrient profile, but she doesn't on this one. Probably because this plant's kind of lesser known, not been studied, I suppose, for that. Okay. And vulnerary, which means wound healing, okay? So it can go on skin, and oftentimes for like weeping skin conditions, okay? That I read about. And then this summer I really want to focus on getting to know the spiritual purposes of plants and kind of diving deeper into that. And so I'm just going to read you, this is from a Robert Rogers book on lymphatic system, okay? This kind of comes as a 15-part set. And I was given this as a gift, so I don't actually know whereabouts to get it. But I should just finish off on this book, The Boreal Herbal. You can get it at Chapters. I think it's about $45. It's like everything you need as a beginner, because it's got a section on how to do all the preparations, and there's like a food section as well, but like how to do infusions, oils, poultices, all that kind of stuff. So this is like an all-in-one book. I think it's about $45, and just call ahead to make sure they have one, or else you can get it at the Optimum Health on 109th Street, and maybe like, it's just south of White Ave, maybe like 72nd or 76th, something like that. And they usually have it on the shelf in the Kolia Apothecary, okay? And if you're kind of closer to where I live, Manistic, you can call the Optimum Health in Sherwood Park, and they'll order one, and you can pick it up there if you don't want to go into the city. Okay. Oh yeah, I was gonna read Flower Essence, okay? So it's not quite time for Flower Essence. We'll be waiting a little bit longer. But I just love what the plants have to offer us in a variety of ways, like physical and other ways, okay? So this is the Robert Rogers books, and he's quoting Pegasus, which is Pegasus Products, I think, out of Colorado somewhere, I believe. But they say about Cleavers, so they probably prepare and sell a flower essence, and this is what it says. Cleavers is an excellent remedy for use by chiropractors. The Kundalini energy up the spine is activated. Okay, it's also a good flower essence for those having trouble with their father image. Individuals who have difficulty studying or focusing on their chosen careers will likewise benefit from Cleavers. Yeah. And also, I was studying the trees this winter, because trees are what we have in the wintertime. And that was really fun, but I noticed some of these summertime plants have like a section on homeopathy and what to do with the hydrosol. And then they've got these like personality traits of plants, spiritual properties. There's like astrology, and I started taking astrological herbalism course, and I haven't really got through it. I was listening at work, which is not the best way to really focus. But I'm looking forward to diving a little more into that too. Because I always thought of astrology as like this weird, non-sciencey based thing. Do you know what I mean? My formal background is chemical engineering, so I tend to... And I feel like people in my family are really practical, and so I just tend to kind of dismiss those kinds of things that don't feel really solid on the ground. But I was listening to something one day about this guy who went to South America to study plants, and basically just they were singing this song about plants, and it was basically about flowers coming from stars. And he said, wait a minute, what does this song mean? What does this song mean? And the guy says, yeah, the idea is that, you know, a little star meteor hits the earth and comes down, and a plant pops up, right? And astrology is very much just like the seasons of the earth, right? We've got this 12 months and 12 zodiacs, and it's just kind of like we've got winter split into 3 phases and spring into 3 phases, and plants pop up in these phases, right? And so it's just another way of classifying plants. I'm totally getting off topic. This is what happens when we don't plan. And so for astrology, I didn't really... It says Cleavers streamlines the body. So he talks about the astrology and how it's linked to Venus and Saturn. And he says, Cleavers streamlines the body, lessening edemas and restoring the clean lines of the facial contours where there was swelling, especially around the eyes. That's what I complain about. I didn't know that before I read this book, but there it is, okay? And then also just like cleaning out all the lymph nodes. So it's a great springtime cleanse. And this was also the Robert Rogers book, and he's quoting Goodrick Clark. I didn't look into what his book is, but it's probably something astrological herbalism related. And then personality traits. Okay, so this is Evelyn Mulders he's referencing, and it says, Cleavers has the quality of clinging as in holding on to, okay? On an emotional level, it's about upholding and supporting, okay? And there's so much about this. I was reading about how helps you let go of things you shouldn't be holding on to anymore. Okay? Okay, and so when do you choose not to take cleavers? So cleavers is kind of a cooling herb, so if you tend to be someone who's cold all the time, you might avoid cleavers. I tend to be hot, so that's a good energetic match for me. Okay, and then if you happen to be hypotensive, or if you're already on a diuretic, then you wouldn't want to increase the diuretic effect on your body, right? And also related to diabetes. So if you've got diabetes or concerns about developing diabetes, then you would avoid this plant. Okay, and then that's it. That's all I wanted to talk about today. And we're 15 minutes. Okay. Yeah, so that's what I wanted to talk about today. I just wanted to introduce myself and welcome everyone to Herb Club, new and old, back. Spring has sprung. And say hi, and if you have any questions, you'll just message me, and I want you to post your questions in the Facebook group. I've got a Facebook group called Alberta Herb Club. I'll be posting this in there, of course, and if you've got questions, you just go there, you post your plant pictures, we'll help you ID, we'll talk about the uses. I'll be posting more regularly now that there's plants to photo and talk about. Okay, and that's it. I hope you guys are well. I hope winter wasn't too long. I hope you're not totally overwhelmed by how much gardening you have to do. And I want to tell you, it's just coming to me. I want to tell you that you don't need to whippersnip as much as you think you do. It's okay to just let things be a little bit wild. And not everything needs to be perfect, okay? That's what the plants want me to tell you right now today. And that's it. I'll see you guys in Herb Club. And I look forward to meeting lots of you and seeing more of you this summer. Okay, that's it. Bye.